The true sickos will remember last year's exciting episode where Zach and I drafted one player from every team in the NFL to create a roster. This year we got three. We got Fran Duffy to make it a three-way coming up next on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on what I believe is a beautiful Friday afternoon, presented by TrueMark Financial. It's Wulf, it's Zack Berman, it's Fran Duffy, and we've got an exciting one today. Fran, you have been studying basically since last year for this one, but I know that you've been grinding the tape. What we have today is a classic draft, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill out our 32 thing rosters with one player or something else from each team in the league. We're going to go around and figure out who game theories at best.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun to go back and listen to last year's version.
You scouted. I did not.
I said it at the time. This is an awesome exercise. I'm really excited to be a part of it this year. This should be a fun episode.
Zach, how you doing?
Excited, ready to go.
Now, just let's because we got a lot of drafting to get to, so we don't need too much preamble. But I will set it up. We've got 13 positions on offense, so all the starting 11 spots, and then you get one extra flex, and you have to draft a backup quarterback. Now, that has to be an actual backup quarterback. You can't just draft Lamar Jackson as your backup. On defense, we've got 13 spots, a fifth defensive lineman, and then a flex position that can be anything you want. And then we've also got head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, stadium owner, and general manager. And the way we're thinking about this is for 1 year, but you're pretending that it's at the start of the offseason. So the GM matters enough that he's still going to be running your free agency and your draft.
I love it. I enjoy the stadium feature. I think that creates some lively debate as well.
Of course, you love that, yeah. You're going to take SoFi number one overall?
Well, the Chargers and the Rams have some appealing options. I don't want to give away some, but I do have a type when it comes to stadiums. I put it that way.
The Intimate Dome, not
just
on
like
the board,
you do with
though.
Peloton instructors. Yeah. Okay, now last year. Of course, we all remember the great Derrick Brown boner that led to that being a blowout victory. Also, both your head coach and offensive coordinator ended up being fired. Only my defensive coordinator was fired, so it's not.
Once again, you can't just declare yourself a winner of something.
Well, you listened to it yesterday. How did it play out?
Yes.
Yeah, I liked your team a little bit more.
Okay.
Of course.
But that said, one thing I will say from this part of the show last year that was very, very funny to me, you guys were trying to decide who was going to go first.
Yeah.
And so you said, all right, well, let's do rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And it was literally like you could have cut and paste what happened a couple of weeks ago where Zach threw paper, you threw scissors, and Zach said, you've been watching the tape. You know that I always throw paper. And I was like, I just heard this literally a week ago on the show.
Yeah, you see sometimes that my commitment to a bit is a little more understated, right?
It was well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one thing I want to say before we get into the drafting, and we also do have to figure out what our order is going to be.
Yeah.
Is I do believe that this exercise, I don't know how you guys prepared, was clarifying in just reminding us. We know that the Eagles roster is so good, but if you're just making your top 3, top 5 for each position, I mean, you can make a case for 10 different Eagles, right? Wide receiver, left tackle, left guard, right tackle, Jalen Carter, Zack Baun, Quinion Mitchell, to say nothing of Howie Roseman and Vic Fangio, right? And so there are a lot of teams here where it's oof, I maybe want one player from that team on my team. So it is a good reminder of the Super Bowl champions are in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, basically and I don't want to get too deep into my strategy and my thought process because I don't want to tip my hand at all, but basically what I did was I went through all 32 teams and just basically tiered out all the different positions that are available to us in this draft and said, all right, who would be primary targets? who would be suitable targets, and then who, if I'm stuck, like, all right, I guess I can like swallow my pride and take this person. And there were some where it was like, yeah, like there are 15, 16 people like I'd be happy to take from this organization, and then there are others where it was like, I don't know, 7.
Yeah.
So it's tough sledding for some of these teams.
I love reading articles and listening to interviews with different general managers to learn strategy, to learn approaches, to learn philosophies, and I am implementing one strategy that a general manager I respect uses. So,
will you reveal that at the end?
Yes, I will reveal it at the end.
All right, I look forward to that. All right, so as defending champion, I will go second, and I will let you guys play rock paper scissors shoot to decide who gets to choose whether they go first or third. And of course, this will be a snake draft.
Okay. So now here's the thing. This is very much.
Yeah,
I know that Zach wants to throw.
I
I know that Zach typically throws paper. All right, you ready?
Clearly, I cannot drink the wine in front of me.
Correct. All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Gotcha.
Oh, you're going one.
Just go one?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go one. Go ahead. All right, so what do you want?
I assumed it was
I have never played a just one.
We don't need to prolong the episode.
Yeah, I agree.
anymore.
Yes. I was fine with it being best of one.
All right.
So you want first pick?
Yes, I'll take first pick.
Okay. Zack Berman gets the first pick. We need a better name for this other than the Around the NFL draft, but here we go.
So with the first pick, I'm going with the league MVP and a team where I think there's a delta in terms of on the roster talent. So I'm going with Josh Allen with the first overall pick.
Interesting. Zach, I think that's a very good pick.
I think it's the right pick.
I think it is the right pick because whether you're not, we all would probably take Patrick Mahomes over him.
Yes.
But on the Bills roster, who else do you want? Whereas the Chiefs have Chris Jones.
Exactly.
To say nothing of Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith or Andy Reid.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's a good pick, but it's also there's not a huge difference maybe between quarterbacks 1 through 3 or 1 through 4.
No, but that was my hang up here. But when I looked at the Bills, I was thinking Josh Allen or Sean McDermott were the two ways. I also like Brandon Bean. So those were kind of my candidates with the Bills. I think Josh Allen, though, if he's at the top of this and the fans are the viewers are voting, that's a really good place to start.
Okay. All right. This is interesting. I am, Fran. There are a few positions where you want to make sure you get an elite player.
Yep.
And pairing that with the teams that have those players, and I don't want other people on that roster. I'm using this pick on not a quarterback. I'm taking Tristan Wirfs.
You
from
did
the
this
Tampa
last
Bay
year.
Bucks. Did I do this last year?
You did pick.
Yeah.
You took Wurfs. You didn't take him in the first round, but you took him very early last year.
Yeah. I think you could make a case that if he's not the best left tackle in football, he's one of the 3 best left tackles in football, right? But the other guys in contention for that, there are other players on those rosters that I would like. Vita Vea, maybe one of you guys will draft, maybe Antoine Winfield, something like that. But I don't love the other Bucks options, so I'm taking Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. You explained it that way last year as well.
This whole episode is going to be just you telling us what we said the exact same thing last year.
No, I think that it makes a lot of sense to go that direction. It is surprising that you'd go there round 1, so you did throw me for a little bit of a loop there. That said, I am going to go with a quarterback, and I am going to go with the guy that was the MVP runner-up last year, the guy that you very easily could have made the case for MVP. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
Really? Interesting.
Okay. That's a team that also has a lot of options.
They have plenty of options.
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm not going to say one thing. We'll get into it a little bit later. But yeah, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson.
So
here.
do you? But my question then is, since obviously you are factoring in, you're going to want another Chiefs player.
Yep.
You believe there's a big difference between Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow?
No, but I think that there are other players that could get scooped up early that could, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I was a little bit worried about getting blocked out of some of these other teams.
Okay. You get to go again.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, I'm going to go with Myles Garrett here. I'm going to go with Myles Garrett. To me, for good reason, got paid as the highest highest paid non-quarterback in football this past year. I'm going to make sure that I'm strong along the edge, up front on the defensive line. Give me Myles Garrett.
He was my other option for the number 1 pick. Would you have taken him next?
He would have been one of the players I was considering next.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was hoping I'd be able to get a Josh Allen, Myles Garrett situation when you went with Lamar Jackson. It did not work out.
Okay, this is interesting now because I mean I don't have to take a quarterback. I can just save my quarterback at this point because you guys have both drafted your quarterbacks, and since no one's going to be taking Joe Burrow, I'm going to use this opportunity to make sure that I get Ja'Marr Chase as my wide receiver as the best non-quarterback on the Bengals.
Good pick. Good player.
Yeah, this is a player that I think is worthy of going this high. So yeah, I like that pick.
Wow, I can't believe I didn't draft a quarterback and I'm going to get the best quarterback. But okay, go ahead.
So with this pick, then I'm going back to the edge, and I look a quarterback, offensive line, defensive line. That's how I build teams. We know that by all our drafts here. So I'm going with Micah Parsons. And I think that there's a drop-off in talent in Dallas. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb's really good. I don't love that coaching staff. I do like that stadium. But I think Micah Parsons is the clear top pick in Dallas. It's a premium position. I was hoping this would be Myles Garrett, but I'm happy with Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I do agree that.
So, Fran, I walk
going
into
through the Cowboys roster was clarifying in the same way.
So,
it was
Fran,
for
I
me.
walk
It was
into
like,
my house yesterday.
Man, you really have to squint to get to really want one of these players other than Micah Parsons.
I talked about the tiers there for that team. They had 3 players that I put at the top tier. Didn't have any. A bunch in the third. So I agree. It was slim pickings there down for the Cowboys.
Yeah, so going again here.
Just
And
head to pico.com/ways to save. They got tips for everything: heating, cooling, lighting, you name it.
I'm debating with this. This is because when I looked at this roster, I liked the coach, the GM, the stadium, okay? But I wasn't thrilled with the rest of the players on the roster. I thought there was a delta on the roster. And frankly, I think when we really evaluate here, we're not factoring in the coach, GM, D coordinator as much as I would like to or the stadium.
So, Fran, I think when you're getting to a place where all the rosters are so good, the coaching matters a little bit less.
So, Fran, I walk into
So I'm going with
my
Justin
house yesterday.
Jefferson at this pick because I think there's a delta on Minnesota's roster with elite top of the league talent.
Yeah, I think Justin Jefferson,
Lighting,
you tell me. I think he went very early last year, right?
He did, yep.
And I think last year it looked like there was a bigger difference
So, Fran, I walk
between
into
him and everybody
my
else on the
house
roster
yesterday.
than maybe there is this year. You know, you could squint and want Darisaw, Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, Byron Murphy, to say nothing of the coaches. So Justin Jefferson is awesome, but I feel like as good as they played last year, there are a few guys who popped to maybe be worth it.
Yeah, and I think that, look, the trying to disentangle the fact that he hasn't always had like the best quarterbacks throwing him the football as well. In a vacuum, like Justin Jefferson is clearly worthy of the selection. I agree that this was a tough roster to kind of go through and say who would be like the true blue targets here at the top of this draft.
So I will do a similar pick that is a very important position, a position that is maybe not quite as deep and just stands out as far and away the only really, really true blue chip player on the roster. And to me, that is Pat Surtain, the corner from the Broncos.
Terrific pick.
Terrific.
Here's my number 1 player from that draft for a reason.
What a flex that is.
Love that. Please give that.
The DMVR crew is going to love you even more.
He's a great player now and was a great player back then. It's a good pick. All right, so if you're going Surtain, that comes back to me for a couple of players. So first one, I mentioned the Dallas Cowboys. It's slim pickings for 4 players at the top of that group, and I think that one of their blue players that are left would be wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and so I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb with one of these picks, and then stay with me here. We are going to go with.
Okay, so I don't need to use a pick on a Cowboy. That's good to know.
I'm going to go. Let's go with. Do I want to go there? No, there's a big drop off here at this spot. I'm going to go with a team that actually had fewer players than I thought at the top of this group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Penei Sewell
Good one.
at right tackle.
That's a good one, too.
I'm going to go Penei Sewell at tackle.
Yeah.
This is a player that, to me, it's him and Lane Johnson at the top, in my opinion. And I think, but when you look at the talent disparity between the Lions and the Eagles, to me, I think Sewell's the better value here in the spot.
I was going to go that spot, so that's a good one.
He may not have gotten to you, but yes, that's a good pick. Okay, I'm just double checking here to make sure that this is the pick I want to make. That's interesting. But I don't think that Zach's going to take that one there. So I am going to go a team that actually I think looks a little bit better in this exercise than I might have thought. And I think one of you will probably draft their left tackle, but I already have a left tackle. I'm going to go with Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants.
Ooh, that's where I was going here. Okay, so I got to reroute a bit.
Yep,
While you do
one.
the analysis, I'll be looking at my.
Well, the analysis: Dexter Lawrence, one of the 3 best defensive tackles in football, plays a ton, provides more pass rush juice than almost any nose tackle in the league, and I'm very happy to get him.
Yeah, he was a player that, looking at the Giants, I had a couple. I'll just call it a couple.
Yeah,
a couple blue players at the top.
Yeah, they're better. They're better situated in this exercise than I would. Better than the Cowboys.
Yeah, they had more players than the Cowboys did.
Yeah,
in terms of players that I would target,
and probably better than the Commanders. Player wise,
right?
They have more elite players than either of the other 2 teams in the division.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is. I would agree with that. I think the Washington second tier is probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
But in terms of elite players, yeah, I would agree.
So we're back looking at this here, and again,
This is fun.
This is good. This is great stuff for Jim.
I really thought I was about to get Dexter Lawrence there. That is not the case. So I'm going with a premium position, not on the line of scrimmage, but a spot where I see a delta in talent as well. Might be a little early for the player, but I'm really judging this more by team than I am by just like the top of the league players. I'm going Sauce Gardner at this spot.
Okay.
Yep.
Because he stood out, and I don't know enough about that coaching staff. I don't know enough about that GM to really want to go with them. So I was going player with the Jets, and to me, Sauce Gardner was the clear top option among the players. So then as I stay here on the players,
I struggled with Sauce Gardner because of he's such an interesting player. Obviously, he and Surtain came out not in the same year, but in and to me, like Surtain's versatility is so important compared to Sauce. Or I think Sauce is like scheme specific. He's so great at what he does, but is going to be everybody's cup of tea. He's going to be a fascinating player when it comes time to him getting paid, which I think is next offseason.
Yeah, and he's eligible for a contract this offseason too.
He is eligible for this year. Okay,
yeah,
so
he showed up to camp as like a sign of faith. I know Connor Hughes was making a big deal about that. So I'm going back to the Lions here, and I think you made a great pick with Sewell. I agree with you in terms of like I really like the middle of this roster. I think that the top end talent maybe isn't as elite as the Eagles. I do like the coaching staff, front office. I'm a big Brad Holmes guy, but I think we judge this on players. So I'm going Aidan Hutchinson with this pick.
Gives you a pairing of Micah Parsons and Aidan Hutchinson. It's pretty. It's a pretty good starting point.
Okay, let me just. You got to change my coloring. This is now a team that's
been
drafted over twice. Okay, here we go. Sewell and Hutchinson. Okay, so I don't have to take a Detroit Lion for a while. Aidan Hutchinson for Zach. Okay, I am going to go. This is one where there's 2 guys I want, and I'm trying to think of which one is less likely for you to draft, Fran. And We have talked about, I think there are probably only 3 difference-making linebackers in the NFL, right? One of them is Zack Baun, and there are so many options on the Eagles that I'm not going to go ahead and take Zack Baun right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the best linebacker in football.
You did this last year too.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. Well, I mean, there's a reason I won. I'm going to take Fred Warner.
Once again.
And like the defensive line, there's so much defensive line talent.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't have Myles Garrett, but I'm going to have some good edge rushers still. I think there's going to be a big difference between the best linebacking tandem in this game and the second best linebacker or the third best linebacking tandem. So I'm going to take Fred Warner.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely warranted. I think when you look at the delta there, so you add Fred Warner into your roster. So give me a second here. I was not expecting you to go that position that early. So I'm just looking real quick. The fact that this is a one season, and I'm glad that you said in the beginning it's the beginning of the off season. So the decision makers in terms of GM, head coach,
right, it matters a little bit more.
Does matter,
but still, you can draft an old player because
Correct.
It's only 1 year.
All right, so for my first pick in this grouping, I'm going to take a player that, to me, he got a huge contract this offseason and was well-deserved. Derek Stingley Jr. From the Houston Texans.
Okay, good one.
I think that when you look at the impact that he has on that defense, I thought the corner numbers, the corner market has really started to dwindle here. So I'm going to go with Stingley and feel good about that pick.
Yeah, good pick.
And then for my next one, I'm going to go with a team that does not have much there to get excited about. Ooh, but like this position is also pretty strong. I take that guy, then I get blocked out of here. See, this is this is what makes this such a great exercise. Maybe not always great to listen back to.
It's fun. People are playing.
We'll do a supercut of
Yes.
just pick.
Yes. All right. So I am going to go. To me, it's still as great of a player as this guy is. No, I'm gonna go against this. Man, I should have done a vertical board here because now I'm like really torturing myself with the. I'm gonna follow the board. Let's go Max Crosby here.
Okay.
This is a team that's limited in terms of star power. This gives me a Myles Garrett, Max Crosby pairing up front that I feel very strongly about. We'll keep it rolling.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, that's good. All right, if that's the case, I'm going to take a player from a team where last year's aforementioned boner notwithstanding, I really think there's only one other player that you would even consider, and I'm going to go ahead and lock up J.C. Horn as my other corner.
Some would call that a reach.
Someone call that a reach, but I mean, I don't want Derrick Brown.
Why not? I don't get. There's 32 GMs in the league who would want Derrick Brown.
Well, of course, you give me the player.
He's a $100 million player.
And you could just take Andy Dalton as your backup quarterback, and that would be fine. But I think J.C. Horn is a top 8 corner. You don't think so?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
He's up there. Yeah, he would be in the discussion. Sure.
So I actually disagree with what you guys said earlier about the Giants. I thought Dexter Lawrence was the clear 1.
Yep.
But I thought there was a clear 2.
Yep.
And then I thought there was a drop off thereafter.
Right.
So I want to jump on this before that drop off. So I'm going Andrew Thomas at left tackle.
Good player.
And then because we are doing this based on true left tackle and true right tackle, and not based on just offensive tackle, I think now that we know that Penei Sewell is off the board, there's a major drop-off at right tackle. after this player. And I understand the Eagles have a lot of talent.
Yeah, interesting.
But I'm going here because I want to know that I have one of the best offensive linemen in the league. We're doing this for 1 year. It's not long term.
Yeah.
And there's a clear drop off at that position. So I'm going Lane Johnson.
I think it's a good pick.
So now I know the Eagles have a wealth of options to go with, but I feel good knowing that I have perhaps the best right tackle in the NFL, and I have a high caliber left tackle as well.
Okay. Good pick. I would have considered it as well. Okay. Back to the drawing board here. Now, there's 2 places to go there. And I could really squeeze you guys, but I'm not going to do that just yet. We're thinking about, we're focusing on the important positions. I am going to draft. There's some good young defensive defensive linemen on this team that could appeal to me, but I'm going to take Puka Nacua.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely. He's a player that was on the radar for me with the last pick. It wasn't someone I was coming down to the wire, but he's someone I definitely considered. Certainly, I mean, look, you can't argue with the production with what he's done already in his young career.
And also, somebody may want McVay, but I'm happy with Puka. I feel like only 3 receivers have. Oh no, you took Justin Jefferson. I missed that. Okay.
I have a question, real quick. Justin,
this is going to turn into a disaster, and when we get to the end of making sure that we have everything correct. But
I'm trying to keep control.
A technicality question: if there are safeties who play nickel, can they be drafted in your nickel spot?
I think so.
Okay.
If they play the position,
If they play-
like
if
a
they play
Brian
the
Branch, for instance.
I'll say Brian Branch because I already took
Aidan
a line.
Hutchinson.
Yeah,
I
a
think
Brian
that would be-
Branch type
I think
player.
that would be fine.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
All right, so I got 2 picks here. I'm happy with how this is going so far. I am going to go. There aren't really any blue chip left tackles really left on the board, except for, well, actually, I don't need to take my left tackle yet. Well, hold on. I do kind of need to take the tackle just in case this player gets scooped up. All right, you're probably not taking anybody there, so I should be safe there. There's still plenty of good players left on that team. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take Trent Williams.
Okay.
There are so many players. You've already taken Fred Warner, so you were out of the running there.
Right.
But with Kyle Shanahan still out there, with George Kittle still out there, with Bosa still out there, Zach could decide to take a third edge rusher. I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I locked in Trent Williams here just to make sure I still had a blue chip left tackle. So I'm going to go take Trent Williams there with my first pick.
Which means I can wait on San Francisco.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. It's constructive to know.
And then for my next pick, I am going to go. I'll tell you what. I wasn't expecting to do this.
Oh no, I hope it's not what I was going to do.
That's always a
Because it's not something that I was expecting to do either, and now that I've looked at it, it is what I'm going to do. But let's see.
Oh, now there's like extra pressure. Zach mentioned earlier that the Eagles have a lot of options, and there are a lot of players you can go with. I'm going to go with wide receiver A.J. Brown.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to take A.J. Brown here. I'm going to pair him with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So now you get the Eagles.
Yes, I get to just
You
wait.
can wait on the Eagles.
You get to wait on the Eagles. But yeah, I'm going to take A.J. Brown here and continue to bolster that receiving core.
I mean, AJ.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna.
Yeah.
AJ Brown is awesome. That's fantastic. I will tell you, I was going to do the exact same thing, but for Jalen Carter.
For Jalen Carter.
Yeah. So now I can wait and take Jalen Carter. Yeah. I mean, that's the top 3 there, and you sort of talk yourself into who you need more. I also already have 2 wide receivers.
You do.
We
We are playing 3 receivers, though.
were playing 3 receivers.
Okay, just making sure. We're plus a flex.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to give you my pick just after this. I need to find a Mando read somewhere. Show me Mando. We know about Mando. We know it's the all-body deodorant. Not just your pits, your balls, your grundle. It makes you smell good. Listen, nobody wants to be the stinky guy in the office. Mando's going to make sure that that's not the case, let alone at home, where it really matters. Mando, we're talking about, this is an all-body deodorant for men. And once I have the promo code, I will tell you about it because there's a good reason for you to go find Mando. Does anybody know where I can find a Mando read?
You did all this.
Oh, I got one. Okay.
Okay.
Mando. Now, you should know it's also baking soda free and paraben free, and it's going to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Again, I told you, this is for every little crevice, nook, and cranny in your body. And the Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And here's where it matters. The special offer for listeners, new customers. Get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack by using code PHLY at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with the grundle in between with Mando.
We'll now hear from our friends at Empire today, because coming up soon in this draft, we are going to be selecting stadiums for all of our teams, where the home field advantage is going to be pivotal. It's going to be very important. And just like how our teams need that home field advantage, you need that home floor advantage, and you're only going to get that with Empire today. The #1 flooring experts. We've all gone to the big box stores where you wander the aisles and you look around and you're trying to find someone that can help you with flooring. You're not going to find an expert in one of those stores. If you want to find the expert, you've got to go to our friends at Empire. Why are they the experts? Well, they live and breathe flooring. They will be with you every single step of the way. Best of all, you don't have to go to the store to get the best of what Empire has to offer. They bring the show floor right to your home. That way you can pick out the flooring that matches with your walls, that matches with your furniture. You can see exactly what it looks like in your home. You can get those precise measurements taken and have all of your questions answered right there on the spots. There are no surprises when it comes time for the installation. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. PHLY listeners can also receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. Yes, you heard that right. $350 with a discount with the code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire today/PHLY for full details.
All right, I'm on the board, and Fran already took Lamar Jackson from the Ravens. A couple other blue chip players there. I considered going Roquan Smith and just locking in him and Fred Warner as the best linebacking tandem in football, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take Kyle Hamilton and feel very good about that. So, Zach, you can wait on your Ravens player, but I'm taking Kyle Hamilton.
Good pick. I was hoping to get him, but now I know who I'm going to go with. At this spot here, again, I'm looking at the teams where there's a drop off in talent. I don't confess to be the foremost expert on offensive linemen, but this is the first team All-Pro at left guard the past 2 years, and that speaks to me. This is someone who I know he changed teams this offseason. Maybe he's on the downslope of his career, but I do think
Did you watch him play in the Super Bowl?
I did watch him play in the Super Bowl. Did you watch him play this season?
It doesn't matter.
I think that does
And
matter.
he's playing out of position?
He's fine.
Yeah,
He's fine.
he played offensive tackle in the
He
Super
can't
Bowl.
handle strength, but that's fine.
Okay, you know what? You can admonish the pick. Again, you look at the delta in talent. You look at, if I'm getting the best players at their positions, Joe Thuney is my pick here. Joe Thuney will be my left guard. And so the Chicago Bears are off the board for me at this
That's
spot.
good to know. Well, it's good to let's mark this because it's the first player who has been drafted who is like months from retirement.
Well, we're drafting 4 this year, correct?
I know.
mean, yeah, okay. So you can admonish the pick.
It's going to be put into retirement.
You can admonish the pick. I mean, look. I think you have J.C. Horn going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I would actually contend that Derrick Brown was a less controversial pick last year than J.C. Horn when you took him. Would you say so?
Wait, so
My
Derrick
Brown
less
pick last
contentious?
year that I got panned for, that I got treated as if like, have you ever watched a football game in your life? I think that Derrick Brown pick was more defensible than the J.C. Horn pick.
They're very comparable. I was maybe a little more surprised by how brazen you were with the Derrick Brown one last year.
Okay.
But I would say it's very. I thought the J.C. Horn pick was a reach, personally. So
I think
I'm
that's
with you.
fine.
Okay.
Was that your first of 2 or
That
your
was my
second?
first of 2.
Okay.
So then my second of 2 will be, as I look at this here, man, I mean, there's some teams like the Saints aren't very good.
No.
I mean, poor.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It is a fun
poor-
exercise to just look and be like, oh, woof.
Poor Kellen Moore. And so, but then I look at, yeah, I had a pick in my holster ready to go. And so I'm going to go with, should I just stick to the board? And
Whatever this
Listen to the
wise
GM.
GM that
Yeah,
you were
right.
following,
Okay.
ask him.
What would GM do?
So yeah, you know what?
What was he that took Dexter Lawrence? Right?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the standout right guard here. I'm gonna go.
Oh, the 2 guards back to
Yeah,
back.
Wow.
yeah, back to back. I'm gonna go with Chris Lindstrom at this pick.
Ooh, you took Lynch from last year as well.
Yeah, and you know what?
You say that with derision.
You know, there were 3 guys on the Falcons that I liked.
Kyle
Man.
Pitts,
Kyle Pitt.
Kyle Pitts,
No.
and Chris Lindstrom.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I picked Chris Lindstrom. Sorry,
Distracted by something.
my wife's texting
All
me.
of a sudden.
my wife needs me to sign something in the middle of the show. So
I hope it's okay. Listen, I don't really want to talk about the fact that I'm drafting this player on my team.
Oh, you're taking Tyreek Hill.
yeah.
Again, you did this last year too, and you said the same thing. I didn't even put him on my list. There were some people that were just like, I'm not even going to put him on my board. Tyreek Hill was off my board.
Good for you. I mean, listen, I don't want him, but I can't not. It's the Dolphins. Their roster's not that good. He completely changes the shape of your offense.
Mm-hmm.
I've now got Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and Tyreek Hill as my receivers. I mean, sorry, I'm not sorry.
Wow. Just no scruples whatsoever.
that was a good pick. Actually, I should have gone that. I was a little distracted. Yeah.
All right. So, all right, that sends it back to me. Looking at the corner market dried up pretty quickly here. And when I look at this,
Wouldn't it be nice to have J.C. Horn?
well, I'm taking a player who is better than J.C. Horn right now.
Okay.
With a team that has an equal, I would say, a pretty equal talent level. This team is pretty bereft of top end talent. Give me Patriots cornerback Christian Gonzalez.
I do love Christian Gonzalez.
Here in this spot. I think that he is one of the rising players in this league. Future number 1 guy, the current number 1 guy right now.
Love Christian Gonzalez.
So give me Christian Gonzalez here, which is a little bit off the board for me, a little bit higher than I would have liked to take him, but I think just because of the lack of talent at that spot, I'm going to take him here, and then. I have yet to take. Yeah, that's the position here. Okay. I am going to take. This is another one where there's not blue chip talent on this roster.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Jeffrey Simmons as a defensive tackle here. he was the only blue player I had for the Titans, and obviously one of the better defensive players in football, one of the better defensive linemen in football. I feel good putting him in between Myles Garrett and Max Crosby.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, I'm looking at positions where we all need a player. And I feel like I am potentially about to break Zach's heart. Although there are 2 players worth considering.
You're taking Isaiah Simmons here.
I'm taking everybody needs someone to sit on the bench. And there are 2 guys who, and that, actually there's someone else who's good there, but no, you know what? I'm going to do it. Zach, I'm taking Brock Bowers.
Okay.
I almost,
you took Crosby,
yeah, I was talking it through in my head. I didn't want to say it out loud for you guys, but when I took Crosby, the one reason I almost didn't take him was because of Bowers. So I think that's a good pick.
So are you willing to concede that my evaluation was a good one last year in the draft? Or will you not even go there yet?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to look at it again.
Okay.
Are you done signing your papers?
Sorry. You throw me in through such a loop here. The Tennessee situation is
The Tennessee situation of 2025.
Yeah.
the Dolphins. Yeah, I don't like any of these.
I think you should take a center here to round out that interior.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna go back to the board, my overall board here, and so look at this. Man, there's some teams that are just really weak. Went. So. I will go. I am sorry for the delay here. I will go with Derwin James, who I think is a standout safety.
Yep, good
and it's a position where I need, and I know I can't get Kyle Hamilton, of course. So that certainly affects me. And you know what? Now that I know that, I'm going to round out the. Man, I shouldn't have gone Chris Lindstrom. That was a mistake.
We agree.
You took significantly longer this year to second guess yourself than you did a year ago. So that's good.
I'm actually going to blame Emily. There's something she needs me to sign, and it's like taking so long here.
Actually going to blame
what's that?
Just throwing her under the bus. Why don't you back it over her a couple times?
Yeah. No, very much the case there. And so I am going to round out then the. I'm going to round out my safeties. Okay?
I see what you're doing here.
And look, I do love Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
And I was going to go Mike Tomlin, but give me Minkah Fitzpatrick.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
I was going to take him coming back around.
Okay.
It's a really good pick.
It's a good pick. And it sort of forces my hand in one sense, because I would have liked Minkah Fitzpatrick, but without Minkah Fitzpatrick, I know that he is maybe not quite the best pass rusher in football anymore, but I'm still going to be happy to have TJ Watt. So I'm going to take TJ Watt.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yep. You get caught up here. I feel like next year's iteration of this game, we need like someone running a board.
Yeah. There's got to be a sicko who's willing to do it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good pick. That's your first edge rusher.
This is my first edge rusher.
Second defensive lineman with Dexter Lawrence. All right. So there are a few positions that I'm thinking of addressing here. And I'm just looking through to see who's catching my eye that's high up on my board. There are not too many of this. Actually, there's more than I would have thought. Oh, I can't take that player. All right. Well, this is a team that only has one blue player. This is a team that has a position that I need, and it's gotten scooped up in recent rounds here. I'm going to take Cardinals safety Budda Baker.
Good one.
Interesting.
Just because I don't want to get blocked out if you decide to go that route, Bo, to pair him with Kyle Hamilton. I was afraid when you said that you're forcing my hand. I said, oh no, he's going to take Budda here. So give me Budda Baker as my first safety, and then let's get back over here. I am now going to go. This is going to be a fun game of chicken here between me and Zach for this one team. That's the thing about this game. See, it's not. There are so many different layers to every selection that you make. I am going to go. Oh yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm going to go to the New York Jets, and I'm going to take Quinnen Williams.
Okay, good pick.
Pair him with Jeffrey Simmons, along with Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. That gives me a pretty healthy 4-man D-line so far.
Okay. Let me just double check that this is what I want to do. There's enough offensive line help here coming for me. I forgot I got to put the red on Joe Thuney. Dead. Okay, and I've already taken him. So
Maybe that's what Zach's signing Joe Thuney's retirement papers.
No. I need to sign an authorization form for Emily and she's there now. They're waiting. So it's like a whole thing. Yes. I apologize. I didn't mean that. She called me 4 times in a row, and so I got worried there was a problem.
Sure.
So
okay. All right, I am going to take interesting, a team that nobody has drafted from yet.
Okay.
And a playoff team that nobody has drafted from yet.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and complete my safety tandem with Xavier McKinney.
it's a good one.
They were a very interesting team for this.
It made me feel
exercise.
worse about them.
Yeah. And actually, helped me gain appreciation for somebody. as well.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. He was high on my list as well. So you know what? This might seem like a reach, but this is a player that this is
Already starting with it.
I'm up, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But this is a player that I'm actually really high on. I think he's a really good player, and if you look at his per game numbers, it backs it up. And the fact that Ja'Marr Chase is off the board,
Right.
and I'm not, I can't go Burrow. And I could obviously go Trey Hendrickson, but I have 2 edge rushers. I made the mistake of not going with Tyreek Hill earlier, and Lindstrom over Hill was a bad pick, and it could affect my overall roster. I'm not going to wait this long for another wide receiver. T. Higgins on most teams would be, yes, I'm going T. Higgins here because I'm afraid Fran's going to go T. Higgins, and I think there's a drop-off on Cincinnati's roster thereafter. I actually feel good about this. Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins. T. Higgins, if you just look at it like yeah, make that face, Bo. I mean, J.C. Horn against T. Higgins. Let's see who's going to win, okay?
T. Higgins wouldn't be in the top 20 receivers I would draft.
Wow, really?
I mean, maybe that's a little bit aggressive. But
I will say this. If Fran drafted him, you would have loved that pick. You would have been like,
No, I wouldn't have.
You would have like, oh, you left Zach with Zach Taylor? You
No,
left
I wouldn't have.
Yeah. So
no, I wouldn't have.
so who should I have taken from that Cincinnati roster otherwise?
You can take Hendrickson. You have a 5th defensive line spot.
And now he can't. He's got to take Higgins locked in.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So that's your first pick there. So
Okay.
you got Higgins with Jefferson.
Yes.
I mean, you have to admit, you did preface it with, this is going to
It's
sound
going
like
to sound like
a
a
bad
read.
pick.
That's why I laughed, because I was like, no matter what happens here, it only is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Perceived as bad.
But yeah, perceived as bad. Right.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
but
I don't think that's a terrible pick, Zach.
Thank you. You know, the truth will set
I
me
think it's
free.
crazy that he's the 7th receiver drafted. But yeah.
Again, you're playing the board here, right?
Yep.
And so I think that is an important distinction to make. And then, yeah, I mean, I look at the once again, I'm going based on the team itself here, and this guy's a 2-time Pro Bowler. Okay, he's not one of, like, if you ranked players overall, this might seem like a stretch. I think within the position and the team value, it's not a stretch. I'm going Eric McCoy to be my center.
That's the one that you scooped me on. That was going to be my next pick. Good pick.
And I was going to wait around for Creed Humphrey, but there were other options in Kansas City. Obviously,
yes.
The only
I mean, New Orleans is
Yeah.
bereft.
Yeah.
That's a good pick, Zach.
Thank you.
That was going to be my next pick. And you've completed your offensive line now.
Yes,
Nicely done.
but man, I would like that Chris Lindstrom pick back.
Okay.
Yeah, your offensive line's all done.
All right. Okay. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my nickel from a team that has not been drafted from yet.
Okay. I know where you're going.
I'm going to take Devon Witherspoon
Oh,
from the
good
Seattle
one.
Seahawks.
Interesting.
So
Big
I've
year
got-
coming for him in year 2 under Mike McDonald. All right, so that comes to me for the for the turn. All right.
I've now completed my starting secondary. Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, Kyle Hamilton, Xavier McKinney, Devin Witherspoon. I feel very good about that.
Oh, that's pretty good by Zach. I see what you're doing there, Zach. That's savvy by you.
He doesn't even know what he's doing.
No.
We'll see who laughs last.
I'm curious about this, the anonymous GM. We're going to find out at the end of the show. Man, that position dried up big time. I'm going to go. This position actually has dried up a lot too. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go with our first running back.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
It's a good one.
I thought you might go Ashton Genty.
I thought about, Genty's off the board for me because Crosby.
Because you took
He-
Crosby,
I-
so Zach could take him.
He was a player that I thought about taking though.
Yeah.
Coming in, I was like, Genty
Right.
was actually a really sneaky pick here.
That surprises me a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bijan. To me, like blue chip player left on that team, and with everybody still being available to take a running back, that one I wanted to make sure I got out ahead of that one. See, now I'm in the spot where I'm looking for who are blue players. I'm going to go. This guy's been banged up. I don't know necessarily about that one. I don't need to force the issue here at this spot. All right, so I'm going to go. I don't know if I love that. This is a, give me another safety here.
okay.
I'm going to go Antoine Winfield Jr. from the
Okay.
Bucks. To me, that's another roster that just there's not a ton of talent there, and
Really?
when healthy, I think that Winfield is one of the best safeties in football. Pairing him with Budda Baker, I like that. I like that addition there to the secondary.
So then Tampa is wide open for me.
For you, yes.
Okay,
You don't have to draft Tampa.
I can wait
can
on
wait on
Tampa, Vegas, Baltimore, and San Fran.
In the meantime, everybody take a break, collect yourselves, read some ads. We'll come back, and we've still got a long way to go, but we will close this bad boy out.
Should we do? I feel like we should do a reset. After.
Yeah, we'll do a reset.
Yeah.
Time to talk about our friends at TrueMark. Summer is here, which means the kids are out and about, hanging with friends, maybe even picking up a summer job. It's the perfect time to set them up with something that teaches real-world money skills and gives them a little freedom. The Greenlight debit card and money app. If you are a TrueMark financial member, You can get a free Greenlight account for your kids or teens. It's a simple way for them to manage their own money, whether it's from a job, allowance, or birthday cash. They'll get their own debit card. You can set savings goals. You can track their spending, and you can learn how to budget all while you stay in the loop from your phone. You're still in control, but they get to learn how money really works in everyday life. So before the summer rush kicks in, this is a great way to help your kids build smart money habits that will stick with them long after the season's over. So head over to truemark.com/greenlight to get all the details and sign up today. Don't miss the chance to set your kids up for financial success.
Yeah, so Bet365 is an app that I like to go to quite a bit because Bet365, whenever there's a big game, I always turn to Bet365. As I'm looking at Bet365, I always know that, we had during the NHL season the early payout offer, NBA the early payout offer, but I'm real big in these baseball bets, and I know the live in-game betting is so much fun to do. I can do that with Bet365. I know they have 90 million users worldwide. They live stream 780,000 events each year. There's early payout offers across the NBA, NHL, and it's just so convenient to use. Breaking news from Bet365: new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet. For $5, get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spreads, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, a little reset here before I go on the clock. Zach, your roster as it stands. Josh Allen, the quarterback. Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins at wide receiver. You have completed your offensive line. Andrew Thomas, Joe Thuney, Eric McCoy, Chris Lindstrom, and Lane Johnson. And that is all for your offense so far. On defense, you have Micah Parsons, Aidan Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner, and Derwin James. Do I have that correct? Did I miss anybody?
That is correct.
Okay. Bo Wulf hasn't drafted a quarterback yet, but I'm just going to get Patrick Mahomes, so that sounds good. So far, I have Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill, and Brock Bowers. I only have Tristan Wirfs along the offensive line. On defense, I have TJ Watt, Dexter Lawrence, Fred Warner, and a completed secondary of Patrick Surtain, Devin Witherspoon, Kyle Hamilton, Xavier McKinney, and J.C. Horn. Fran, you have Lamar Jackson. You have Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, and A.J. Brown. You have Trent Williams and Penei Sewell as your bookend tackles on the defensive line. You have Myles Garrett, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams, Max Crosby. And in the secondary, you have Derek Stingley Jr., Christian Gonzalez, Budda Baker, and Antoine Winfield. Got that?
Sounds like a championship roster right there.
I mean, it sounds like a second-place roster, I would say. Okay, over to me. You know what? I had my pick. Oh, you know what? I do have my pick. I'm going to draft my second edge rusher, and this is another team that has not been drafted from yet. And, player who had a monster 2023 season. Bit of a come down last year, but still a very young player, I believe, ascending. Give me Josh Hines Allen from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Like that one.
Interesting.
Good pick. So, you know what? We're going with blue chip here. We're going with one of the best players in the NFL, and he hasn't been taken yet because there's so many good players here. And I understand that there's a handful of directions that one could go, but I want to make sure that I land this player. And that's Chris Jones. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, so
good pick.
I feel good there. And then, all right, we are an hour into the show
Fran
right now.
Wait on his Chiefs player, but go ahead.
Yeah, we're an hour into the show. Is that right? Or thereabouts?
Something like that.
I'm ready for all you got. If you want to laugh at me, you can laugh at me. Okay, but
You have to stop prefacing your picks this way.
you know what? That's
He
fine.
wants this one.
This is called a sense of humility.
Okay.
But I also feel, and you know draft rooms well, stand up for what you believe in.
Pound the table.
Even if you're standing alone. Okay? I don't want to end up with Andy Dalton as my backup quarterback here.
Oh, okay.
I like Evero.
I don't think that this is a
Okay.
bad pick here.
So give me Derrick Brown.
Double down.
I appreciate you,
Double
Derrick
down,
Brown.
Derrick Brown.
Derrick, everyone needs a champion in life, and I champion you. When you were coming out of Auburn, it wasn't just the on-field attributes. It was the football character I mean, you guys remember this. The way this person was wired, the leader in the room. That's what Derrick Brown is. And now he joins the defensive line with Chris Jones, Micah Parsons, and Aidan Hutchinson. Derrick Brown, come on down. You are on Team Zack.
Derrick Brown gets drafted by Zack Berman. You know what that means. It's time to take our pants off in
Overtime!
I think that's a totally fine pick.
It's going to be the longest overtime in the history of overtimes.
Yeah, I mean, we are.
It's going to be like that Flyers
Are we even
playoff
halfway
game when
through?
we were in
I'm not
middle
so
school.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, over to me. Now, I already have a couple people earmarked for my offensive line. So right now it looks like I only have one offensive lineman, but I know one that I'm taking that neither of you guys can take. There's another one I know that I'm going to take. So I'm looking around here. Who is available?
The other part of this that is very interesting, I said earlier that could use a Sitco to make a board. The three of us don't have the same board. Like we could see, we would nice to see who's it, but as my board changes, as I make a pick, that affects Bo's board and affects Zach's board.
Right.
It's a very fluid. It's such a great exercise.
I am going to. This is the one offensive line position that I do not have somebody already earmarked for, and there are some interesting players, but the other interesting players on this roster are at positions I'm not worried about, and so I'm going to take Elijah Vera Tucker from the New York Jets, and slot him in at right guard at the moment.
You're taking a right guard, okay? At the moment.
At the moment.
A little surprising. I can see why you got
as
there,
the
though.
player or as
Just that he's going this early.
Yeah,
But all right, I see the thought process there.
do you like do you like a? I mean, you don't like a Fashanu or a. You can't
I'm not
take
going that
Membu,
high.
right?
Yeah, no.
And I don't need Garrett Wilson. I guess I could draft Breece Hall, but you could draft Quincy Williams, Tyrod Taylor as your backup quarterback. But I feel good about Vera Tucker, and there are only a couple other interesting right guards.
Right. No, that makes sense.
So you okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I thought
he was up.
Yeah.
Just looking around, and who were the people left that I've got blue chip grades on? And there aren't many. Some of them I know that I'm set for, that I can wait on, that I don't need to take right now. But there are a couple where it's this player I still have to make sure I get this guy on my team. I'm going to go to the offensive line, and I'm going to select Indianapolis Colts left guard Quentin Nelson.
Yeah. I thought about that.
I'm going to take him off the board. So that's my Colts player. That's my left guard.
Learned recently that he's an alumni of the same camp that I went to.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
This is where we find out that you won 3 wiffle ball championships and he only won 2.
They don't do wiffle ball there. I mean, I was the only pitcher when we played other camps.
Yeah.
I was the ace, no doubt about that. Also, discus champion a couple times. Much better at the discus than the shot put.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And what do you attribute that to?
I think discus is similar to throwing. It's about the elasticity of your arm and the power you can generate lower body wise that way. Shot put, it's not the arm strength is not not my top tier talent.
I appreciate that clarity.
Yes. Well, what you appreciate is the chance to think.
Correct. No question. That actually is probably the way I'm going to go here. I'm going to take Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
I was wondering, what does he count with the Dolphins?
He's on the Dolphins right now.
Yeah,
But we're doing so if he gets traded, okay.
Anybody can get traded.
Yeah, anybody can get traded.
All right. Well, this is one of those
Now,
things.
are you making him your nickel? Or is he your flex?
For now, he's my flex.
Okay.
But there's a chance I make him my nickel. I wanted to get him into the fold. We'll figure that part out later. But yeah, I'm going to take Jalen Ramsey here.
Okay. Got to change the coloring of this now. This is a team that's been drafted twice instead of drafted once. Let's make that purple instead of yellow. Okay. Okay. What do I need? Do I want to use my last defensive line spot on that? Or do I want to hold for considering the head coach? I don't know. Do that. Yeah, I'm gonna get stuck with some tough coaching options, but that's okay. I think at center, the best centers, Linderbaum, I've already drafted a Raven. Creed Humphrey, I'm going to be taking Patrick Mahomes. Elton Jenkins, I've already taken Xavier McKinney. Frank Ragnow, retired. You've taken McCoy, which I think was a good pick, Zach. Although I guess I don't need to take the center now because you're not going to draft a center, so
Yes.
maybe I'll wait on that as I talk this out. I am going to go. Jeez, this is the part where I am the real staller here. Do I want that as my flex? Do I want to go with an extra defensive back? That's not bad. Because the things I'm considering are things that you can't take. So now I'm trying to think that through. Give me. This is gonna turn into a panic pick. I can already feel it. You know what? I feel good about this actually. I'm gonna take Jonathan Grenard.
Oh, good.
Different Jonathan.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan Grenard as my 5th defensive lineman.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick there.
fine.
Good player last year. So I'm actually going with a different Jonathan here.
I'm excited about this.
And look, I put
Jonathan Gannon?
yeah, I was thinking that. No, I put in italics when the two Niners went that I was going to have Christian McCaffrey as my running back.
Okay.
But 49ers have so many options.
They do,
The
yes.
Colts don't have as many options here.
Correct.
Right? And so
Oh, interesting.
now that it's down to Bo and me for the Colts.
Yeah.
Really, there's only 3 people I'm considering there, and I think there's a delta. There's a big delta here. So I'm going Jonathan Taylor as my running back here, and then speaking about Jonathan Gannon, that's a joke. But his team, I'm going to his team here because look, I could just do I think I did Arizona as my stadium last year, if memory serves, and look, I enjoy being in Arizona. Nothing wrong with that. But this is actually one of the best tight ends in football. And people don't know. I mean,
That's a good pick.
111 catches, 1,146 yards last season. I think he was paid to be the highest paid tight end in the NFL this offseason. I'm going Trey McBride. And I think that if Trey McBride was maybe in a bigger market, he would have a little more buzz. But I feel real good about that pick.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, I think it's a fine pick.
Okay. You have not drafted a bear.
Correct.
Now you could. No, I don't think you're going to draft this guy either, actually. So not going to do that. My defense is so full. And I don't need to draft a running back because you guys have both drafted running backs. Do we want to do some things where if there's a guy who you're taking that nobody else can take, we just slot him in terms of to
Oh, yeah,
sort of
you wanna
speed
do
things
that?
along?
The only thing that's tough is that because of the
we don't know what
flexes,
the roster's gonna look like.
and
Yeah.
the flex spots, right?
Well, like for instance, like I know that I'm taking Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Okay.
So like this is not going to be my pick right now, but why don't I just
Should we
pencil
do this
that
at the
in?
top of a round?
Yeah, I'll do it at the top. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, geez. Here we go. Who was better? I'm gonna have to ask Fran who's better. Can't do that.
I'll give you a good answer.
Give me. You know what? Should I have taken Jonathan Grenard over Will Anderson? That was kind of silly.
I mean, it's true.
That was dumb.
You said it was a panic pick, and
I knew it was.
You
gonna be-
did say
I
it
knew
was a
I-
panic
that
pick.
was gonna. I knew that was going to be the pick that I was least happy about. Okay, well, you know what then? Why don't I get the best receiver on the board that I can get for myself here? Let's take an important player, and I think confirming the options that I have at receiver, I'm going to go ahead and take Nico Collins.
It's a good pick.
good pick.
Yeah, that is a good pick. So that gives you Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill, and then Nico Collins as your flex.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty strong. Okay.
I think we can do the thing, like if you know you're taking it, you can go it as you go along because we're all keeping track of ourselves, what you were not boxed out on.
Yeah.
I think if there's something where you're the last player to draft from a team, you can go ahead and just input them as part of your
Got it.
turn.
Yeah, I like. Okay. All right, so I've got 2 picks here, and some options available to me. I've got
So you
a
need
receiver in a flex spot.
you've got a receiver, tight end.
All my coaching staff and
right.
general
No
manager.
coaches have been drafted.
No coaches have been drafted yet, which is a little surprising.
When you were preluding the Derrick Brown pick, I thought that might be where you were going, was a coach.
Ah, okay. No, I wanted to get Carolina taken care of there. I have so many teams saved for like stadium. I don't think that's probably the way to go.
Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take, with one of my picks, our first non-player.
Okay.
I think that the market. Just review my options really quickly here. I think this guy presents an edge for his team, and I think that the delta between him and some of the other GMs that are available to me is such that I think this is the right pick in this spot. I'm going to take Rams general manager Les Snead.
I thought that might be where you're going. And I think in a specifically this thought exercise where it's just one season,
them picks.
Right.
We're gonna make some. We'll go trade for Chris Lindstrom at the deadline if we want to give Zach some ammo for next year. So we're gonna go with Les Snead as one of my selections, and then I'm gonna go to the Windy City, and I'm gonna select our first coach.
Interesting.
And it's not gonna be Ben Johnson.
It's going to be Dennis
It's going to
Allen.
be Dennis Allen,
Interesting.
a difference-making defensive coordinator. I don't have many of them left on my board, and so I'm going to go with Dennis Allen here.
You love Dennis Allen.
I do love Dennis Allen as a defense coordinator. I can't deny that.
Okay.
So give me Dennis Allen.
Interesting. All right, I'm gonna fill out a couple things here for myself. These are not my actual picks right now, but Patrick Mahomes is going to be my quarterback, so I'm going to just put that in.
Okay.
You guys have already drafted your Chiefs players.
Yep.
Jalen Carter is going to be my
That's not
default.
true. I have not drafted a Chiefs player.
Oh, you haven't drafted Chiefs, but that's
No.
okay.
But I'm not
you
going to
can't
take
draft
Mahomes.
the
Yeah.
I can't take Mahomes.
Jalen Carter is going to be my defensive tackle, so I can.
Wait. Hold on. You can't take Jalen Carter. Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you're good. I inputted one player wrong. I gave you Derrick Brown instead of Zach.
God forbid.
All right. So you have Dexter Lawrence and Jalen Carter. Nice.
Right.
Okay, good.
And there's one other one where you guys can't. No, I guess you could. No, there's not a spot for an extra offensive lineman.
No.
So you can't take this player. I'm taking Joel Bitonio as my left guard.
Okay.
So I'm just putting those in. As for what my pick right now will be, I already know who he's going to be my player. I know he's going to be my player. Do I need to worry about the coaches? I think this player is just okay. But you already, I know you can't draft him, so there's no reason for me to draft him right now. I'm going to end up with a not very good running back.
Hope the viewers are enjoying the deliberation
The
here.
look at the top of my
Yes.
head. Really exciting stuff.
This is
So what I've done
This is
as
when it
we've
gets
gone
in.
on is like my sheet is like cut into thirds, where it's like on the left side are all the players. The top left is all players that I can select.
maybe
middle
next
is-
year. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Go ahead. Like, the middle is like these are guys that you guys are blocked out of that I think I'm going to take, and then the
Yeah.
right side is like, all right, these guys are off the board.
Say maybe next year we do the draft off air and then we debate our picks on air.
Right, we could do that way. Do the draft and then
Yeah.
Exactly.
reveal the picks as we go.
Exactly.
And go
yeah,
with the
just
thought
thinking.
process.
Yeah, and then have the
it's not a
back
bad
and
idea.
forth.
What's funny is that you guys said this last year and it said
Yeah,
you said,
yeah.
oh, we should do this off air, but then I think the dynamic this year of it being three people changed that. Rightfully.
Okay. Where are the teams that I have not drafted from? No, because so much of this is like, I don't want to make this pick because I know that you guys can't
Sure.
make this pick right now, but I probably should stop worrying about that. Where are the teams where? Nope. See, all of these things like you guys can't draft from. Okay. All right. I'm just going to, I feel like at this point, I should just make a pick.
Yeah.
Give me. You know what? This is not the pick that matters. It's not because you guys have already drafted from here, but I'm gonna go on there. Oh no, because I'm gonna take Jahmyr Gibbs as my running back.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Good one. He was high on my list. All right, I'm gonna give you two picks here. And so the first one is I think there's some maybe recency bias attached to their reputation. This guy only played 5 games last year.
Okay.
But a year ago, he was pretty high in this draft. That's L'Jarius Sneed.
It's a good one.
I'm gonna make L'Jarius Sneed my corner on the outside, and then from Washington's roster, I was considering Terry McLaurin, but I was considering Cliff Kingsbury. You know, I'm big on Cliff Kingsbury,
You know that?
but I'm gonna go Bobby Wagner.
Really?
Wow.
Because Bobby Wagner's been a
Well, you have
productive
no linebackers. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no linebackers. There's
You haven't
another.
drafted a linebacker
I
either.
have not. No.
Yeah, and so I think Bobby Wagner was
Bobby
just
Wagner
real quick.
over Frankie Luvu.
Yes, Bobby Wagner over Frankie Louisville, based on the on the ratings I'm using.
On the what? Are you just going off PFF?
No,
Oh no.
no.
You guys had this. You guys had this debate last year too.
Sweet. Based off the ratings I'm using. Okay. All right. Well, what's not exciting is that it's back to me. Okay. All right. This is you can't draft him, but I might as well just draft him. This is a starting caliber center.
Okay.
I'm taking Ryan Kelly from the Indianapolis Colts.
He's not with the Colts. He's with the Vikings now.
What the hell?
Yeah, he's with Minnesota.
Okay.
Who you?
I've been kicked out of the league.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
No,
in
so
that case,
that's an honest
In that
mistake.
case, Yep.
well, it's a bad mistake.
It is.
Uh,
Brings into
okay.
doubt everything you've done so far.
Everything I've done so far, and there's only one other center on my board,
That's not good.
and I don't want him. Okay. Then give me. You can take him. So I will draft. No, I've already drafted a right guard. Jesus, God damn. The offensive lineman thing is tough because you guys can't draft these guys. All right, I'm just going to do it though. I'm going to take Joe Alt as my right tackle.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a bad pick. All right. So for me, I've got a few that you guys can't do. So you guys have both taken a New York Giant.
Mm-hmm.
So, or wait, am I allowed? I guess can I make this pick? You guys cannot take a New York Giant.
Correct.
I have this guy earmarked. Can I just put him in?
You can take him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Malik Nabers.
Okay.
All right, so Malik Nabers is in there as my third receiver at the moment.
And that doesn't count as either one of your picks.
Does not count as either one of my picks. So I'm going to remove that really quickly. You guys both selected Bengals. Zach selected. You guys have taken Chase and have taken T. Higgins. So for my D-line flex, I want to throw in there Trey Hendrickson.
Okay.
So let's get him out of there. Let's get the Bengals out of there. Got
He's
a few
your
more of
fifth
those.
defensive lineman, right?
He's my fifth defensive lineman, so I'm done defensive lineman.
But there's and you put Ramsey in your flex. So you
Correct.
Okay.
So all that being said, let's now go to my next pick. This will be my actual selection. I am going to go. That's a little rich for this player. Do I go that position? I am going to go. Wow, that team really dried up quickly. I'm not going to force the issue on that spot though. Who else is left? Sheesh. Yeah, I don't love this. Oh, no, that's such a terrible pick.
It's tough, right?
I'm not taking this guy now. Let's go. Oh. You know what? This is a guy I like. I'm gonna take a page out of the Zach book. I'm gonna take my nickel here. And I'm gonna take. Just make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna take Alontae Taylor. This is a guy that's got inside-outside flex. I love watching this guy play. We know that he fits in Dennis Allen's scheme. He's a really competitive, really physical, aggressive corner. I love rounding out my DB room with Alontae Taylor.
Okay. Was that your first or your second?
That was my.
Because you did the
I did
Hendrickson.
Correct. Yeah, man, that was my first pick. Jeez. All right. So with that in mind, let's go now.
Are there any teams where
no one has made a selection?
Where there's more than where even two people still need somebody?
That's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
I think so.
You guys both need Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both need Commanders.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. One.
No, Steelers are blocked out.
One. You and I both need Bills. 2. Yeah.
I'm the only one that could take a Steeler.
Yes.
Yeah, because you guys have Minka and TJ Watt.
Yeah. You two both need Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
You two both need Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, with
You
that,
two both need Packers.
so with that in mind, let's fill in a spot for me.
Okay.
If we both need, or if we all need or you guys have both taken Steelers, I'm going to take Mike Tomlin. Put him in there as my head coach.
Okay. I do feel like if you are listening, maybe fast forward like 10 minutes and then we'll recap the whole.
No, this is fun.
Yeah, this is good.
This is
deliberations.
Okay.
All right.
So you have a hole at backup quarterback, tight end, center, right guard, offensive flex, both linebackers,
Yep.
and
Stadium
OC
owner.
Stadium GM or OC Stadium owner.
Yes.
I have all 6 of the non-football, non-player things open: linebacker, flex, center, and backup quarterback. You have backup quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, offensive flex, 5th defensive lineman, linebacker, nickel, safety, flex, and all 6 of the other.
I don't have safety. I have both safeties filled.
Who's your other safety? Derwin James and
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Minka.
Oh, Minka. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Who's up?
I'm up.
You're up. Okay.
So talk to you in a couple minutes.
Yep.
Okay. I only have a few things left to fill out. Now, everybody needs a backup quarterback, so maybe that's where I should look. I don't want Josh Dobbs. I could go Spencer Rattler. I could go Marcus Mariota. I could go Daniel Jones. I could go
Daniel. I mean, is Daniel Jones really the backup?
Yeah, I mean,
quarterback?
that's a tough. You could be Anthony Richardson.
Right.
What I think I'm going to do though. I have a bit of an edge here. I'm going to go ahead and draft Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that was one. I
You
had
would.
that earmarked.
Yeah, you would.
You love a Melvin.
I've got the Melvin and Tyreek Hill, two of my favorite players in the NFL.
Am I up?
You're up.
You're up.
So I'm excited about this pick here. Okay, I'm gonna bring juice here.
I love when you bring the energy.
Yes, man. I have a need at corner or in my secondary. I have a need at wide receiver. Why not hit on both?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
I thought about this. Yep.
Reed's birthday was last weekend. And and he got a Travis Hunter jersey.
Nice.
He is gonna be so excited.
What color?
It's the old school one.
You mean
It's,
he was going to be so excited?
yeah,
And then
he's
it
gonna be
turned
so
out
excited
that
to
he was
wear
very
it because I
excited.
actually got it a size up because
Okay.
to get a Travis Hunter jersey. And look, I got to
Now,
tell
for
you,
the purposes of this, where are you putting him? At
at
receiver?
corner,
Put him in corner.
he's my flex.
He's your flex on defense.
Flex on defense.
Okay.
Yep. So the funny thing with this is, I don't know if I should say this on air, because I appreciate all our sponsors, right? I didn't get this through like official channels, right?
Okay.
So this is one, and it took.
Appreciate it.
What's that?
Good for you.
Yeah. So it took like a month to get here, but it is awesome, and
Nice.
he loves it. But I got it a size up so he can wear it throughout Travis Hunter's early career. So he'll be pumped for this pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
That's
So
fun.
I got Travis Hunter there, and then so my other competitive positions or teams rather are Seattle, Denver, and Green Bay. And then so
Did you draft a commander? You did not, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
so then, well, this is the challenge here. The Denver player that I want to go with here, I know Fran won't pick him. Okay.
Jahmyr Barron?
Yeah. Because I'm just looking at
I know, but now we're so deep in it now.
Yeah. I kind of got to roll with it here. So
Yeah.
Jahmyr Barron will be my
Your nickel?
Yep.
Okay.
Damn right, I'm not taking him. Wasn't even on my board.
To be fair, he wasn't on my board either, but that's just because I love you. Okay. All right. I only have 2 football players left, center and defensive flex, and then I've got all 6 of my non-player stuff. Now, the teams that I need are Tennessee, Chicago, Buffalo, Arizona, Indianapolis, unless they trade for Ryan Kelly. Took Houston, Dallas, and Washington, and New Orleans. And New England, but I know who I'm taking from New England. Okay, so my question is, who is the best defensive player available
Okay.
from those teams? And I think the answer is probably Jalen Johnson.
You took Jalen Johnson last year.
Did I?
You did. It's a good pick.
But it's between him and Ed Oliver. I could go Ed Oliver
Okay.
because I've got 3 edge rushers.
Oh, wait. You can't take it. Yeah, you can't take Ed Oliver, right?
Why
Because you have Dexter Lawrence and Jalen Carter.
Well, I have defensive flex. He could just be my defensive flex. Can be any.
Oh, I thought that was
can
just
be-
secondary.
It can be any player.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was just secondary.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Interesting.
That's okay.
Okay.
This-
That's
Well, you
fine,
know what?
yeah.
Because if that's how you guys read it, then I will not use it for a defensive lineman. I will be fair, and so then I will take Jalen Johnson. to make that happen.
Jalen Johnson is your DB flex.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's coming to me for 2 picks. I am going to take this guy's a young player, up and coming. Diane Henley, linebacker from the Chargers.
Interesting.
It's not on my board.
Yeah, I'm going to take Diane Henley. And I will also take Dre Greenlaw.
Okay.
So those are going to be my 2 picks here in the spot. Take the Broncos and the Chargers off of my list just because I hadn't selected one from either of those 2 teams yet. And I wanted to fill out my linebacking core.
Okay.
Basically, I went that direction because while there are better linebackers on the board, I'm taking players from those teams
Right.
a little bit later down the road. So I want to make sure I get those linebackers before you guys were to scoop them up.
Okay. I think I am close to being able to just sort of
I think we're close.
Yeah.
fill out my roster. If you guys want to, we could do that, but
I think we probably have like another round or 2 in us.
okay. Then I will go. Who's going to be my head coach? I guess I will do this since I didn't take Ed Oliver, and you haven't drafted a head coach. Oh no, did you?
I have Tomlin.
You took Tomlin. Okay. Well, I'm just going to do it. I will take Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott. Wow. Who are you going to get in charge to do the pregame speeches?
Listen, I've already got Tyreek. I can't really be. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then, I am up here, and with so I have Green Bay competitive, correct?
I think that's right.
And then Houston's not competitive. And so and then Seattle, I need as well. So I'm gonna go with a GM here. Actually, is New England competitive?
I think it is. I haven't taken my New England.
Okay, so I'm
did,
gonna go with head coach Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
Vrabes is a winner.
Braves.
This is the second time in a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a callback. That's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Royal, I'm happy with that pick there. And then I have Green Bay competitive. So I will go with Brian
Gutekunst.
Yep,
Okay.
as my GM.
All right. I got to decide which of these centers is the best center. And it's down to Tyler Biadasz,
Okay.
Cooper Beebe, Yalda Froholt, or Tanner Bordellini.
I mean, if you don't take Tanner
That's
Bordellini,
your-
then
but
what are
that's
we
your
really
guy.
doing here?
But I like Yalda Froholt too.
Yeah, but I mean, for the people, you got to take Tanner Bordellini.
Cooper Beebe's not bad.
It's not good.
Yeah, I also don't really want anything else in Indianapolis, so I'll take Tanner Bordellini. That's who I should have been forced to take after taking Ryan Kelly anyway. So
That's a good point.
yeah.
All right. So, give me all right, give me Chiefs right guard Trey Smith
Okay.
and give me Packers center Elkton Jenkins.
Yeah, good pick.
Thank you.
All right. So you only have. You want to just fill yours out? Are we there for you yet, or you need
Stadium and owner, we're not quite there yet.
stadium owner? OC,
I've got tight end, OC,
backup
wide
quarterback,
receiver,
and
and QB. Or
Okay.
flex, yeah.
I only have linebacker, OC, DC, stadium owner, GM. I'm going to just go ahead and fill this out now.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I've got Arizona, Dallas, Washington as, who am I missing? Oh, no. And okay. So OC, DC, stadium owner between Tennessee, Arizona, Dallas, Washington, New Orleans. So the most important thing there probably is the OC. You go Petzing or Kingsbury. I'm going to go, Zach's going to hate it, but I'm going to go Petzing.
Okay.
So Drew Petzing is my OC. I'm going with the Tennessee owner.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Amy Adams drunk?
Amy
Okay.
Adams drunk. Voted for the tush push.
Okay.
And so I'm happy about that. I'm delighted to get to play in the Superdome. Great place to watch a game. So there you go. That means, who do I have left?
GM and DC.
And Dallas and Washington. Okay, so I'm going to go Matt Eberflus and Adam Peters. And that means I have one spot left, one team. Linebacker, New England Patriots. That's right. Completing the best team in football. It's Christian Ellis, baby!
I put him on my list. I put him on my board just so I knew you, because I knew there was a chance you could take him, just so I could black him out. And you came through.
All right, so I'm going to make my defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz.
Okay.
I will make my backup quarterback Zach Wilson from Miami.
Okay.
I will go
Boy, she's
Roquan.
going to have such a great time in Miami.
I will go Roquan Smith at linebacker.
Nice.
Nick Bosa at defensive line. And so then I still have OC, stadium, owner,
Yep.
and flex offense. And what
Who are your
teams-
wide receiver and tight end? I missed them.
He took Trey McBride at tight
Oh, Trey
end,
McBride,
and
yeah.
his receivers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going Mike Evans at wide receiver.
Okay.
Okay. So then what teams do I have remaining then? San Francisco.
No, you
No, I
took
just took San
Bosa.
Fran. I have Vegas.
Okay.
Okay.
I have. I'm sorry.
This is when it gets, this
Yeah.
is where we're going to miss one thing and it's going to
Yeah.
be chaos.
Should I go Chip Kelly as my OC?
I mean, that's pretty on brand.
I mean, either Chip. I'll go with them as either that or the stadium. But let's go with Chip Kelly as
put your money where your mouth is.
as my OC.
So who are your other stadium owner and
Stadium
offensive
owner.
flex? Are the three teams
Yeah.
you need?
Correct.
And
Yep.
the teams I have left are Seattle. And
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else I have left here.
Mm.
Sorry.
Do you know where you stand here?
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
so
all
why don't you
filled out.
take? Why don't
Okay.
you figure out who your other teams are, and we'll get
All right, I'm
Fran to
filled
fill us
out.
out here.
All right. My QB2 is going to be Andy Dalton.
Okay.
My offensive flex is going to be Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay. Nice. Who's your tight end?
My tight end is TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
My OC is Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay.
Glad you didn't take him because I would have been in trouble. My owner is Terry Pagula.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. And my stadium
It's
is
so very funny that the Bills were quarterback, coach, owner.
I know. And my stadium is Lumen Field in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
You just like it because Lumen reminds you of that show.
Of Severance, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So then
Did you figure out your other two teams?
Houston, Denver, and Seattle.
What
Okay.
about? Oh yeah. Okay. Houston, Denver, and Seattle.
Oh no, I took Jahdae Barron, so Denver's
did.
not available.
Okay.
So then Houston, Seattle, and I took Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay. Did I take Green Bay?
Oh, you might not have taken Green Bay.
I did not take. No, I took
Oh, you took
Goody
Gutekunst.
as
took Goody, yeah.
GM.
Goots.
Houston, Seattle,
Gudo.
and
Goody Goot. Goody Fruity. I'm a
I apologize. I'm trying to get that. We have something we were trying to get
Fruits
to
and Goots.
Jeez.
Goot.
Sorry, I have 49ers.
No, you took Bosa.
I think
Yeah,
next
Bosa.
year this should be a night show too.
Yeah, sorry. Gosh. Hour 40.
we still got to do Notion for the 2:00 show.
You know what? I'm just gonna give you Houston and Seattle.
Okay, and then you'll just get whatever the.
Yeah, and I'll just
Okay.
I'll just get
You
whatever's
gotta
left.
take,
So
you have to take NRG.
I'll go Cooper Kupp at wide receiver.
Really?
Or
Over Smith and Jigba?
they paid him more money.
Then the rookie deal.
You know what?
You're just looking at how
sure.
much money they make? That's your
no,
thing?
that's how it is.
That's your sword?
Yeah, you know what? I will go. There's no one there at Houston. I can't take the stadium, right? So it has to be the offensive flex there.
I mean, you could
why
take.
can't-
You could
Oh no!
take Stadium
And the
Authority.
Rams are my other team. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go Devontae Adams.
Oh, I thought for sure you'd go SoFi.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Devontae Adams at wide receiver. Okay. I'll go with the Seahawks ownership.
Okay.
Right.
So
And
the
then-
Allen estate.
And then so
So
then
you
I'm
get NRG.
yeah, so I'm left
NRG.
with NRG Stadium.
Okay.
By the way, I'll reveal this real quick because I got to jump on something. Well, I mimicked Eric DaCosta and I used the Madden ratings to determine this.
That was one. He said it was one thing.
So I sorted by Madden ratings at every position and look at the delta of talent.
Okay, go ahead. You can leave.
Okay.
I will reset here, and Fran and I will discuss who finished first.
Meaning me, right?
Yeah.
Because people always say, by the way, you should simulate this by playing Madden games. So I'm like, well, if someone
so you're
puts
trying to
these teams,
retrofit it.
if viewers put this in the Madden, they're gonna be like, man, your team's the highest rated. Something to think about. Gaming the system.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through everybody's rosters, and then Fran, let's compare the
Like
the
position
groups, and then see where we net out. All right, Zach, Josh Allen, Zach Wilson, a quarterback. Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Trey McBride,
Devontae Adams too.
and Devontae Adams. Offensive line of Andrew Thomas, Joe Thuney, Eric McCoy, Chris Lindstrom, and Lane Johnson. On defense, his front, Micah Parsons, Chris Jones, Derrick Brown, Aidan Hutchinson, and Nick Bosa. Roquan Smith and Bobby Wagner at linebacker. And a secondary of Sauce Gardner, L'Jarius Sneed, Jahdae Barron, Derwin James, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Travis Hunter.
Can I ask a question? If I wanted to take Travis Hunter as my offensive flex at the end of the draft, would you have allowed it?
I think probably not.
Okay.
And then his off-field group: Mike Vrabel, Chip Kelly, Jim Schwartz. Boy, that is a collection of egos. I don't know how that's gonna work. They're playing in Houston with the Seahawks ownership group, and Brian Gutekunst is their GM. I've got Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Tyreek Hill, Brock Bowers, and Nico Collins.
Pretty good.
An offensive line of Tristan Wirfs, Joel Bitonio, Tanner Bordellini, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Joe Alt.
Woof.
I definitely have the worst
that's the
offensive
worst
line,
offensive
but
line for
I also think I definitely have the best receiving skill group.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
TJ Watt, Dexter Lawrence, Jalen Carter, Josh Hines Allens, Jonathan Grenard, the pick that's really going to haunt me. Fred Warner, Christian Ellis, Patrick Surtain, Devin Witherspoon, Kyle Hamilton, Xavier McKinney, J.C. Horn, Jalen Johnson, and Sean McDermott, Drew Petzing, Matt Eberflus, the Superdome, Adam Peters, and of course, we are led by the fearless leader, Amy Adams Strunk. And Fran has Lamar Jackson, Andy Dalton, Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas Jr., T.J. Hawkinson, Trent Williams, Quentin Nelson, Elton Jenkins, Trey Smith, Penei Sewell, Myles Garrett, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson. Struggling at linebacker, Diane Henley and Dre Greenlaw. Secondary of Derek Stingley, Alante Taylor, Budda Baker, Antoine Winfield, Christian Gonzalez, and Jalen Ramsey. And an off-field group of Mike Tomlin, Cliff Kingsbury, Dennis Allen, Lumen Field, Terry Pagula, and Les Snead. Okay, let's look this through here.
Okay, let's
you know what
go.
the pick that really the Eric McCoy pick that Zach had Really, I was counting on
Man,
Eric
that was the
McCoy.
fulcrum for you?
That was the fulcrum
Wow.
for me. Okay. So quarterback, I got the last quarterback. I mean, I still would rather have Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins than Lamar Jackson, Andy Dalton, or Josh Allen, Zach Wilson. I think this is one where like the margins are small.
The margins are very small, and I thought about punting a quarterback early,
Yeah.
but I thought, you know what, in this kind of exercise, it's the most important position in football. I don't want to mess around. I want to make sure that I wanted to make sure I came out of that with either Allen or Mahomes, or sorry, Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Okay. But I feel like, to me, tell me, if you're going to go Lamar Jackson over Patrick Mahomes, I would have thought that meant you really wanted Chris Jones. Now, Trey Smith is good.
I had so many. I had 7 blue players. Because I include Spagnuolo in there as a blue defensive coordinator. There were so many options for the Chiefs where I'm like, okay, I can get a blue player here, and that's why I ended up with Trey Smith as one of my last picks. He's one of the best right guards in football, if not the best right guard in football. So I said, okay, like to me, I'd rather have Lamar or Joe Burrow or whoever that is over and Trey Smith over that. Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have Patrick Mahomes and Kyle Hamilton, which is what I ended up with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that's the fact that Kyle Hamilton was one of the only other blue players for the Ravens. Yeah. I think that just to me there were more opportunities to select a blue player from Kansas City than there were for some of these other teams.
Okay, I'm gonna give me a 1, and you guys both a 2, meaning I win, but it's a small margin at quarterback. Running back in this setting maybe won't matter quite so much. Zach's got Jonathan Taylor. I've got Jahmyr Gibbs. You've got Bijan Robinson. I mean, listen, I would rather have Jahmyr Gibbs, but you might rather have Bijan.
I think I would take Bijan over those 3. I would probably stack it as Bijan, Gibbs, Taylor.
Yeah, and I think it's even with quarterback, I think the margins there are small. Yeah. So far, I wouldn't even take quarterback. I think we're all pretty equal.
Yeah.
Although I think Jonathan Taylor's a touch below, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I do think I have a delta here with the skill position players. Chase, Nakua, Tyreek Hill, Brock Bowers, and Nico Collins versus Zach's Jefferson, awesome. Higgins and Mike Evans and Devontae Adams. I mean, that's a lot of age in that group, and Trey McBride. I mean, obviously an elite group, but I think it's trailing. And then you have some younger guys, which I like. CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Malik Nabers, TJ Hawkinson, Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, nobody's suffering there. But I think this is the first one where I feel like I have a better group for sure.
We didn't draft this position, but I'd be interested to see who you would have taken as your trainer. Just with Nakua, Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, I feel like that's going to be a part of the equation for you.
Yeah. Or my security chief.
I mean, we know that's right too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I didn't even have Tyreek Hill on my board, so I didn't take him into account.
I appreciate that.
I personally like my group a little bit more than yours.
Really?
I think with Bowers, that gives that to me, there's a huge delta there. I got blocked out at tight end pretty quickly. That was one position where I was looking at. I was like, man, that dried up fast. So then I said, I'm just going to wait, and I ended up with Hawkinson. It was very close to me. Ended up with like Tucker Kraft or somebody there. So I was happy to just make the move when I did.
I mean, I like your group too. I do like mine better, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's tight.
I say that, and in all honesty, I have the worst offensive line.
I don't think it's close. Yeah,
I think that's true. Zach, if Zach hadn't taken Lane, I would have taken Lane there, and I would have taken Eric McCoy when he did. So he took Thomas, Thuney, McCoy, Lindstrom, Lane Johnson. Even that in the middle, I think he's not awesome. Wirfs, Batonio, good start. Bordellini, Vera Tucker, Alt. We could, Bordellini's gonna have to carry some work. But you got some old guys too. Trent Williams, Quentin Nelson. That's old. And then Elton Jenkins, Trey Smith, Penei Sewell. That's a pretty good right side.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody blew it away here, but I do think I have the worst group.
I think you have the worst group. I think this is similar to the receiver group where Zach was clearly 3. I think you are clearly 3 with the O-line, and you could probably talk me either way for offense. I do like my group a little bit more for the offensive line, but you can convince me that way.
Front 5. By the way, we're like almost 2 hours into this episode.
If you're sticking with us,
this is nuts.
Beautiful.
Zach, Micah Parsons, Chris Jones, Derrick Brown, Aidan Hutchinson, Nick Bosa.
It's a good group.
Good group. TJ Watt, Dexter Lawrence, Jalen Carter, Josh Hines Allen, Jonathan Grenard. The Grenard pick bothers me a little bit, but that's okay. Could have been Will Anderson, which would have been better. Fran goes Myles Garrett, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson.
This is tough.
Those are all very good
very
groups.
good
It's like the quarterbacks. Like it's hard to really. Everybody did very well, and that was part of my game plan. Was I'm not drafting defensive line early because there are so many good defensive linemen in the league.
Yeah,
that was part of the exercise prep for me. Whereas in the secondary, I didn't quite feel that way. Linebacker, Roquan Smith and Bobby Wagner, Diane Henley and Dre Greenlaw, and then obviously the best, Fred Warner and Christian Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I punted on linebacker.
Right, which is understandable, but you got to punt somewhere.
Yep.
So I'll take the win there. And then secondaries, Sauce Gardner, Jahdae Barron, Derwin James, Minkah Fitzpatrick, L'Jarius Sneed, Travis Hunter. I mean, Barron's a bit of a weak spot there.
Two rookies. Yep. One guy coming off injury.
Right.
Yep.
So I do think that's the worst of the three.
I agree.
I feel very strongly that I have the best group here. I
disagree.
But obviously you disagree. Patrick Surtain, Devin Witherspoon, Kyle Hamilton, Xavier McKinney, Jalen Johnson, J.C. Horn, Derek Stingley, Alante Taylor, Budda Baker, Antoine Winfield, Christian Gonzalez, Jalen Ramsey. I like your group. I think I like my group better. I think I have the two best players in this. I mean, Kyle Hamilton and Patrick Surtain, I think, are the two best players in the secondary in football.
Yeah, but when I'm looking at it, I would say if I'm looking at just the corner trios.
Yeah.
Okay, because we all took corners as our flex, DB flex. My corner trio is the best. I think if I look at safety, it's pretty comparable across the board when everybody's healthy. I think I have the best.
I think I'm
personally.
way better at safety.
Hamilton and McKinney. I mean, McKinney's coming off in a very productive year last year, he's okay. He's a good player.
And then Zach goes, Vrabel, Chip, Jim Schwartz. What an interesting, just the day-to-day in the meeting rooms there is going to be very interesting. No, I mean, someone's not coming out alive. And then Houston Stadium, Seahawks ownership, and Goody.
Well, let's go. Let's talk through the coaches really quickly. In terms of, I
have McDermott, Petzing, and Eberflus.
Your press conferences on a weekly basis are just
so boring.
Dreadful.
We are going to love being boring.
Yes.
And you've got Tomlin, Kingsbury, Dennis Allen. I don't love Kingsbury, but
I didn't love that either.
I think you have the best. I know you love Dennis Allen.
Yep.
Although, I mean, Eberflus as a defensive coordinator, I feel okay about.
Yeah. Solid.
So I would give you a slight edge there, but not a crazy edge.
Yeah, I like my coaching staff more than anybody else's.
But I get to play. I get to play in the Superdome, and I think when it comes down to it, what really makes this a win for me is the Strunkmeister. I think Amy Adams Strunks really takes me over the top.
Because the Tennessee Titans have just been such a peerless organization in terms of how they're run at the top.
Yes.
They're not constantly firing people and promoting people and then firing them quickly. That was a great pick by you. I feel good about Les. I feel like I have the best GM.
Yeah.
Les Snead over Peters and Goody.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Pagula owner was a wash.
For your first go around, I think you did well. To finish in second place, I think is pretty good for you.
I think that to come out with a crown and what is clearly the number one draft in the offseason, I feel good about that.
All right. That'll do it for this episode. You want to come back in, Zach? Do you want to know? We ran through it empirically. Do you want to know where you finished?
My guess is you say I'm third.
I think
you might be
third.
surprised.
Okay. I am surprised.
You actually finished second runner-up.
But you know what, audience? Hey, if you want to go in the Madden and you want to put the rosters in the Madden,
You still might not win,
I'm just saying. Just because you declare yourself a winner doesn't make you a winner. I think that's something that applies on the PHLY show and in life as well, right?
All right,
when you make it, by week 4 of the regular season, in a meeting rooms with Mike Vrabel, Chip Kelly, and Jim Schwartz, which one's dead?
Well, no. As I was walking out, there were a few changes I probably would have made.
Okay.
What's the first one?
The Tyreek Hill, Chris Lindstrom one, because I would have gone Quinn.
Okay.
Quinn
Miners.
Yeah, Miners at guard, and that would have given me a little more offensive firepower. What people don't recognize about I don't know what if you guys properly recognize about my team is I'm the only one of us that has an extra skill player because Travis Hunter can move over to the other side. So really, what I've been playing chess with Reed recently. I didn't play checkers here. I was playing chess. I was holding Travis Hunter as I was considering going Bo Melton for the Packers, to give me a little more of that offense defense versatility.
All right, good stuff. Listen, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching this elongated episode, just our true tentpole of the offseason. We will talk to you on Monday. Fran, you're headed off to vacation.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy where you're going. And that's all we got. Thank you to Julia for making this happen and really sitting on this episode and producing it so well. We will talk to you later. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.